Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, do you know there's just 218 days until Christmas 2021? And today we're doing our weekly co-host with a magic maker from Reimagining Star Wars. And we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch, of course. And then there's been some recent news come out and some speculation come out. We'll jump into that space as well. So a magic maker, hey, how's your move been going?
It's been busy and it's still not done, unfortunately. That's what happens when you move out in the country.
That is what happens. And anytime you move, it's typically weeks or months, maybe years before you finish unboxing all the stuff you boxed to move, right?
No, it's true. And we're actually going through a process of throwing stuff away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not moving that.
Right. We had a dumpster brought out, actually. It went down in the basement and just did a thorough, sorting through stuff, completely filled a dumpster full of stuff. Just like, okay, been holding on to that stuff way too long and it's got to go. So I perfectly understand. Yeah. So, hey, we've got, so what did you think? First of all, I think, what did you think of the Bad Batch episode 3?
I liked it. I liked the tone. I liked it a lot, actually.
Hey, Mike Porter. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Oh, we love you too, Mike. Good to see that you're on the mend. I saw this morning that the medicine's still making you sleepy, still a little bit woozy here and there, but really appreciate you taking the effort to be here and that you get back to full health very, very soon. Very soon. And for those of you who may not know, Mike had a heart procedure done on Monday and is recovering and seems to be doing well. So God bless you, Mike. Thanks for being here. And we've got many of our regulars are here. Gray, my good friend Gray is here, and Spencer. Hello. McNay. Hello. And is that a picture of Millie Bobby Brown? Indeed it is. Indeed it is. We'll be talking about Millie Bobby Brown here in just a moment. There's a reason for that. For Coachella Lopez, thanks for being here, Peter. And I saw Star Wars MCU OG, the one person who's actually older than Mike Porter. Thanks for being here. And you guys, yeah, there's a lot. Oh, Bob's your uncle is here. Bob's here. Hello.
Bob.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. I truly appreciate it. And I have a new Will Morgan. Oh my goodness. Hey, Will, where's that Meta Egg video? I need it. Where's my Bad Batch Omega Meta Egg video? I've been waiting. I've been trying to be patient, and my friend, we need it. It's something missing from my life. So look forward to getting some Meta Egg content from Will, hopefully soon. But
Star Wars MCU OG isn't older than all of us.
Oh, he's not.
No.
Okay. Well, there's another guy that goes by a very similar title in Discord, who is actually older than Mike Porter, and in his late 50s. So you're not the same Star Wars MCU guy as the other guy. So there you go. There you go. Will,
Mr. OG is still a youngin.
He is. He's just a baby. Will's going to film this weekend. That is great news, Will. But I've got a new kind of guiding principle for this channel. And I've been talking with some of my, I'll call him an executive producer, about the direction and focus for the channel. And for me, it's keep the content about the content. It sounds a little bit funny, but if we keep our content here on YouTube about the content of Star Wars, then I think that that's better for us, and I think that's better for the community. We're not talking about the infighting or the politics and all of that stuff. Well, it does come up from time to time. We discuss it from time to time, but that's not what the content is about. Our content is about the content. So we're talking about episode 3. It was a fantastic episode. Like you said, I am really enjoying it as well. and I don't feel like any of this is filler. I've heard some people say that it is, but
No, this was not a filler episode. This is all squad dynamics. This is. I mean, they were just setting up the conditions for darn it, crap. The sniper guy.
oh yeah,
Crosshair. Missing his squad and looking at all the things that's gone, the headache that Wrecker's having.
Yep.
The talk about trying to scan for the inhibitor chip. I mean, all that stuff is coming into play. These are all little threads being woven into this. This is every little detail is actually pretty crucial. I mean, I'm watching this thing develop and going, man, this is really good writing.
It really is, and it's universe building. Like, we're getting details and information that we've not seen on screen before. And somebody asked me this question before, but like, have we seen this content in any of the novels, the EU, that kind of thing? Like seeing Tarkin switch over from the clones to the stormtroopers, the conscripts. And to the best of my knowledge, we've not had this content directly in any other medium. We have seen them, with the stormtroopers. We've had some stories around the space, but I think this is the first time we're actually seeing it. Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I was trying to think of it too. I was like, I don't know. I can't think of anything specifically.
Yeah, I can't either. Hey, we've got some other folks joining in. Mick said, "Can you turn it up a bit?" I've got Imagic Maker up as much as I can. So just be conscientious of that, Imagic Maker.
Right, I'll talk louder.
Oh, you sound great. I think they might introduce Fennec Shan. Well, we'll be talking about episode 4 here in just a second. Omega is the cutest. I wish young Ahsoka was written as well. I agree. I think you bring up a good point that's worth discussing in context of episode 3 even. I have been impressed with seeing Omega's character growth across all of it. We did a rewatch of the first 3 episodes yesterday in our Discord channel, and I've pinned a Discord link above, but we did a rewatch. There's a couple of fun things. Just like, one is a fun Star Wars thing. Apparently accents are genetic. Like you inherit your accent and you can't change it. And the reason I say that is, where does Omega get her Australian accent from? She's raised on Camino. Everybody pronounces her name. The Caminoans and the Bad Batch, everybody pronounces her name Omega, except her. And she has a really, really thick Omega, right? Like so that's just a fun thing. And I remember back with even Rey having the British accent. People, you were using that to say, well, her accent is proof that she's Obi-Wan's daughter, right? So that is apparently a Star Wars thing. Your accent comes with your DNA, and it's not influenced at all how you're raised or the accents of people around you. So
that's right.
Yeah, New Zealand. Sorry about that, Seth. Yeah, and Seth, I saw you're new here, sequel fan. Oh my goodness, I love the sequels. Imagic Maker, not as much, but boy, I love them. So we have some other folks here who are also fans, but we also have a few folks that are active in our Discord, active in our live streams, who are anything but sequel fans, not so much. So there you go.
We just love Star Wars, and we're willing to look over some things or rewrite it to our own liking.
Exactly. Well, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the show, but that's right. We love Star Wars. And the reason Imagic Maker and I do this show every week is because we do come from opposite sides of the fence when it comes to the sequels and the sequel characters. And we're able to bring different perspectives in. We're we're within the same peer group as far as our age range. So a Magic Maker's in the same ballpark as me. So
yeah, I'd have been an annoying kid to you when we were in high school. I'd be like, just leave me alone. Just those junior high kids would leave me alone.
Yeah. So, but I've been impressed with Omega's character and in her character development, because episode 1, there and rewatching it really gave me some insight into she's overhearing things from her mother figure, right? The Kaminoan who she's wearing the same. It's Nala Se, right? She's wearing the same family colors. She's wearing that same headband kind of thing, and she presumably is being raised sort of off the grid. And we talked about this before earlier in the week. I think this is the first time you and I have had a chance to talk about it. But regardless of if she's aged enhanced or not, it appears that she was on Kamino in the facility when Obi-Wan visited there during Attack of the Clones. Just doing the math, like she's anywhere, let's say she's in that 10 to 10-ish range in age. We don't know, but let's just say she's in that range. If she's age enhanced, that's 5 years before. 5 years before fits within her being on Kamino when Obi-Wan went there. Is that right?
Yeah, it should have been effectively 4.
Right. Right. So
as far as her development.
Right. So when Obi-Wan is there and he's talking with Boba Fett and Jango are living on Kamino at the time. Whether she's age enhanced or not, she's also there. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So Nikki, I'm just gonna go hide in a corner now. Nikki, you're not the only one there. Monsieur, I'm not really a prequel fan, but it's my favorite era. Boy, there's a lot of great content in there. Gray says, my guess she's 14. Rewatching, there's a couple of things that I found interesting. And I mentioned episode 1, when you rewatch it and you see Omega watching and listening, there's conversations between Nala Se and Tarkin and what's the other guy's name? The other Kaminoan. I have tough names with tough time with names.
Lama Su.
Yeah, Lama Su. So Lama Su, he's the chancellor or whatever there. They in watching her overhear their conversations, you can see her looking and listening. And then afterwards, some of the things that she says, like she goes to the Bad Batch in that lunchroom and says, I don't think they like you guys very much. And she keeps going on like, I think you guys need to get out of here. And then she wants to join them and all that. And then in the second episode, when she sees Dirt for the first time, you see like her interaction, like she's growing as a character. I went back to that first episode. Excuse me just a second. I got to text back my daughter. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You're just hearing me get a phone call right on air too. So
I'm really sorry, folks. But in that first episode, when she makes that shot at the end, a lot of people were saying, well, that was a bit overpowered or Mary Sue-ish, or there's something going on there. Immediately after that first shot, she takes 4 more shots and everyone's a miss. So 1 out of 5 shots. Now, the first shot was a dead-on shot, but there's also time for her to have set up and aimed. And later in the episode, she says, well, I don't know how I made that shot. I've never fired a weapon before. Or a blaster before. I've never held a blaster before. The way that she says that, I'm not certain she's telling the truth. And there's 2 speculations about her. Like, is she a double agent, a sleeper agent, a plant, because Nala Se definitely interferes with the closing of the doors to keep that from closing so that they can escape. And was why did Nala Se help Omega escape with the Bad Batch? Right.
I don't know. I'm getting a hint of familial care, and obviously she was already in the prison cell with him, so something was. I mean, because she had been found in their quarters,
Right.
And so I think Nala Se felt like the game was up, and she was. I mean, at least that's the hint. I mean, it could be wrong. It could be something else going on, but they're definitely taking the time to show you that the Kaminoans are more interested in the outcome for the Kaminoans than they are in the outcome for what occurs with the Empire.
100%. 100%. And in one of those conversations that Omega overhears, Nala Se mentions there were 5 of these genetic experiments, or that there were 5 of the genetic experiments still living, something to that effect.
Right.
And it made me wonder: is Omega the same age as the other Bad Batch members? If she's not age enhanced, so they're roughly double her age. If that's the case, she could be, like Gray is saying, 14 or 15, right?
Right. Yeah, I tend to think that she's 13 because Boba would be 13 at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I initially thought she was maybe 3 years younger, but now I think that maybe her and Boba are twins.
Right.
Like they're both unaltered from that aspect. She is altered. I mean, she's female. So she is altered. There's some definite genetic differences between them as far as like chromosomes, and she's enhanced in some way, but I think they're both taken from that same experiment when Django said, I need a son. The Kaminoans took that opportunity to say, well, we're going to get another female, and we're going to hide her off. And so I think when Obi-Wan went there and he was visiting with Boba Fett and Django, that Omega was the same age as Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
And I think she was with Nala Se during that period of time.
Yep.
And we didn't see her in the movies, so that's how they explain that.
Exactly. And Ducky brings up, I never had her own room part. The never had her own room part is curious, right? She at the end of episode 3, she, Wrecker makes her room there on their ship, and she said, I've never had my own room before. So I go back, and again, I need help with memory because Attack of the Clones is my least favorite movie of all, and I don't enjoy rewatching it. But I would say that Django and Boba, did Boba have his own room?
No, he was in the same area as Django.
Okay, that's what I thought. So if Omega is living with Nala Se, wouldn't it be similar?
Yeah, I would say it's probably very similar.
Yep, I think so too. So while it's curious, I don't think it is. I think it fits because Django was given full quarters. It's not like he was put in some little dump. He was given full quarters. They did have a little storage room there in his quarters. In a bathroom, but other than that, it's just one room.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's the case. This came up before. Triple aging, right? They're trying to explain maybe she wasn't there. I'm not convinced. I'm
not convinced either. And she's clearly a different experiment because he says your little experiment.
Yep.
Lama Su says that to Nala Se.
Yeah.
And so. Implying that Omega is more enhanced than the others.
Yes. Yeah.
But that they can create another one from the other enhanced clones.
That's a good point too. So we'll come back to that in just a moment. But I said, I want to acknowledge Mark is here. Mark he's got a bit of a rotator cuff thing going on in his shoulder. He's in a lot of pain. Mark, hope you're feeling better and that heals. And my friend, I know this from my own experience. I've got a lot of hip pain, and my friends keep telling me I need to go have a hip replacement. Santa's at that age, after all. My friends keep telling me, Santa, go get a hip replacement. You'll feel better. And I'm like, no. And I just deal with it. And Mark's dealing with the shoulder pain and resisting going to have surgery. I'll tell you the same thing my friends tell me. Go have that looked at. So, not that
I've
you
torn
will.
both my rotator cuffs. It hurts.
It hurts, right? Seth says Omega is Boba's daughter. I think that's impossible, right?
Yeah, that's not the case.
Yeah. Lama Su. There you go. Lama Su is that's who we were trying to think of before. Moff Gideon. When I see the rock on the thumbnail, I click. Oh, we'll be there soon. We'll be there soon, Moff Gideon. Thanks so much. I just got to get caught up. General Skywalker. Oh, you're new here. Thanks for joining. It's great to have new folks stopping by to spend some time with us talking about Star Wars. Gray says she seems more childish because she isn't around other children. Right. She's being raised by a Kaminoan as like a family member. And there was a couple interesting parts with that. So she's wearing that headband that Lama Se has on, right? Yeah. She's wearing the family colors of Lama Se.
No, not Nala Se.
Nala Se. You know, these Kaminoan names.
Lama Su, Nala Se.
I know that it gets me. I can't do it. I just.
Ooga booga.
Yeah, exactly.
Lippity loppity.
Bibbity boppity, right? But that doesn't prevent her from getting arrested and put in jail, does it?
It did not.
I equated her somewhat to like Moses being raised by the Pharaoh. Like he's raised as a prince in the Pharaoh's household. Yep. In this case, Omega is being raised as a bit like a princess in the Kaminoan household. But, you know, Moses murdered a guy and they were going to put he had to run away. Omega created a crime and they put her in jail. So I think there is some parallel there if you want to think of it in this way.
I mean, it's usually, you usually put things in an archetypical story. That's one of the things you learn about writing and fan fiction. That's why you need to go do that.
Oh, Trinity, thanks for stopping in. I think she can mimic the Bad Batch's abilities. So, again, during the rewatch, in episode 1, towards the very end, we get a couple of insights from Tech that are fascinating. Tech realizes that Omega is one of the 5, and he shares that with the Bad Batch, and that when they decide to go back to get her. And he also says that she has enhanced perception. I was like, whoa, I didn't catch that the first time. And when you talk about what her ability is, enhanced perception is what Tech says. But there's still the thought, and there's still some unknown aspects about Omega. Like, is she force sensitive? Is she able to mimic abilities? There are hints towards both.
Yeah, I think it was implied in this one that she has the abilities of all 4 of the Bad Batch.
I think that's very well could be the case.
I think that was what was implied there. So because Hunter has enhanced perception.
Yeah.
And so which what allows him to track, and then of course I tracked like you.
Right.
And then you know, she's able to make that shot, having, it's assumed she's never shot before, and she makes that sharpshooter shot, in episode 1, in the first episode. Right. Hinting that she's like Crosshair. She knows what's going on regarding the inhibitor chip, along those lines, ensuring that, implying that she has she's highly intelligent like Tech.
Yep.
So I think as we're going along, I think where it's implied that she has the abilities of all four.
That very well could be the case. And talk about episode 2 a little bit when she's out there playing ball with the other kids. They're throwing and catching. She's not played with other kids, right? So there are things that she doesn't pick up on. But if you were to talk about her being able to mimic, if she were mimicking the other kids, then they're throwing and catching ball, she wouldn't have missed. For one, when they threw it and they said you're supposed to catch, she would have mimicked and been able to catch that. Right. Second is when she went to throw the ball to them, she missed and overthrew quite a bit. It went way out past the garden, right?
And that her own strength kind of.
That could show some abnormal strength for a female her age and size, right? Not the strength of Wrecker by any means, but maybe some enhanced strength for a female her age and size. All right. Let's see. 13 and Boba's twin. I think that they took it from the same thing, right?
Yeah.
There's all the Bad Batch members. I have a feeling all Bad Batch members will die by the end of the series. I think that's a safe assumption, General Skywalker, because of their age and their job. That eventually they will. But when will the end of the series be? I could be several seasons. Right?
Yeah, don't know. When he first popped up, I thought his name was General Frywalker, and I thought that was an awesome name. So if no one has that, General Frywalker is a really good name.
I can't wait to share something with you here in a little bit. I put some stuff out on Twitter, and I've got some fantastic.
Playing around on Twitter, that's dangerous, man.
Well, my folks, the folks that follow me and share stuff on Twitter are fantastic people. What if they use Boas on Ultra DNA? So, end of episode 3, we see the Kaminoans talking about coming up with a new batch, right? A new, a wave 3, right? The third generation clones. And these third generation clones, one thing they say is we don't know if the donor or donors will return willingly. And then again, I'm going to Bibbidi Boppity says that they're our property, so they don't really get a choice.
Right. Lamasu says they're all property of.
Thank you. So, could that be Boba? But I don't know, because Boba was a special set off for Django. I don't know that they would consider Boba their property. The other clones,
that was his payment, so they probably would not.
Right, I don't think they would either. So one of the Sheev the Wise, one of the theories is that they want to get Boba back because he is the most direct copy of Django, and then use him to start that third wave. But really, that would essentially just be continuing just with new material of whatever the second or whatever wave you would call that.
Yeah, I think it was completely implying the enhanced clones, because they said we only need one.
Right. And so I think it could be the other. It could be the Bad Batch. Right.
I think that's what they're referring to. But I think the reason why they looked down is because they were referring to Crosshair. Yeah.
I think so too. Now Crosshair they have, right? But I don't think they're talking about his. I think they're talking about some of the others, perhaps.
No, I do think they were completely talking about Crosshair, because they were what they're basically saying is that they're going to take from him and do something that the Empire doesn't know about.
Well, but they have Crosshair. They wouldn't need them to Crosshair to come back willingly. He's there.
Well, I understand that, and that's why that statement, after that whole conversation, it turned down into looking down into the group of clones,
right, sitting there,
and then said, "But we only need one."
Oh, okay, good point.
So that was a visual change.
Yeah. And Nikki, yes, I'm starting to lean with you, Nikki, that she might be an amalgamation, right?
We already have what we need, so we need to do what you're plan, your special experiment was with the one we have, instead of trying to go after our property, not the Empire's property. That's what that means.
Yep. Phil still thinks that she's maybe force sensitive. I do not. I'm leaning against the force sensitive, and that's probably my own bias coming in. And Magic Maker and I have talked before how we bring our own biases in, and when we watch anything, Star Wars or Marvel, anything, our biases affect our perception and how we intake movies or any content. So for me, I'm pushing back on the force sensitive, and I recognize that's my own bias. Where do you stand on it?
I would think you'd be on the side that Omega is force sensitive, and that I should be on the opposite side. But I mean, but I do think that she will turn out to be force sensitive. The reason I think that is because I think we're walking our way to Snoke, and so I think that's the process that we're going through, and it's going to be a step-by-step process to get us there. I think in the same way that Filoni used the Clone Wars to try to fix and bring people back to the prequels when people were all pissed off about the prequels. I think Filoni is doing the same thing. Filoni, and then also Favreau, his portion, is doing that for the sequels. So, I mean, I do think there'll be ultimately a few changes done to the sequels to try to, appease some people and bring all the crowds back and let things simmer. And I think they will simmer, just as they did with the prequels, and then they'll move on. And I think that's what this is in my mind.
You invoked the name, so I'm going to bring it up. Going across the threads today, I saw this in the Den of Nerds Discord, and then it was posted in my Discord. Again, my Discord link is in the description, and it's pinned in the chat. There is a story, a news article, not necessarily news article so much, but this from Lucasfilm.com leadership, and this is about Dave Filoni. It has on here, this looks like it's maybe a little pixelated for you guys. His title, they have executive producer. Now, he's been executive producer for some time, but the other that's on here is executive creative director. This is new news to a lot of folks, myself included. I don't know that I recognized that title before. And there's a question: what does that mean? What does that title mean? What are his responsibilities? What's his role? Titles are free, right? You can give away titles to anybody. But what does that title actually involve? What are his responsibilities? What is his part of the leadership team? You can see that it's lucasfilm.com/leadership. So he's part of the leadership team, and somebody shared that group involves Kathleen Kennedy as the president, Lin-Wen Brennan as the executive vice president and general manager, Momita is the executive vice president of physical production, Dave Filoni, Rob Bredow, who's the senior vice president, chief creative officer of ILM, and then Rhonda Hjort, 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 I don't know, a senior vice president, business affairs and legal counsel. So Dave is one of four who have that executive in their title, or one of three: Lin-Wen, Momita, and Dave. Everybody else has senior vice president, whatever, and Kathleen Kennedy, of course, president. So he's on the leadership team for sure. But what does this title mean?
Well, I mean, being brought up to the leadership aspect is definitely a place where he hasn't been. So he may have been there having conversations with him, but he wasn't officially in any leadership capacity.
So I think a lot of people are really excited about it, really happy about it, and I hope it is an indicator of things to come. So
I think it is. I think basically what's happening is he is directing, and he's going to govern the process that's going to get Star Wars, happy with both sides of the aisle to most part. I'm not saying it'll be perfect, but most part. Can we get a product that is 70% there for most people?
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way to look at it. I'm hoping that maybe Lucasfilm puts out some sort of press release or some announcement more around what that role. That would be very nice. But it's kind of just hitting the news now, and it's making the rounds in Discord. I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I find that interesting. I mean, I know this is kind of talking, for breaking your rule on the first day already. Of keeping the content about the content.
Right.
I do know that it's been pretty interesting stuff with what's been going on the opposite side of you, which is the Variety article and what they're interpreting from that.
Right.
And so I do think there's some shaking up going on in the down in the underneath Horn and Bergman. So
Yep.
if you don't know, Alan Bergman run all of the studios for Disney, and so as of January 1st, Alan Bergman took over as the studio executive that's over all of that, and then Alan Horn took over or slid into a position called the Chief Creative Officer for the Disney Studios. And of course, then in the Variety article, which has been around since 1905 and probably considered the most respected and most accurate of the Hollywood trade magazines, and so when it's running there, it's usually they've confirmed it through all their sources. That's the expectation anyway. So that's how most people see that. And so they announced that he intends to retire and that they will not replace that creative officer position. Maybe. And the reason I say maybe is because they said they have no intention to do this. And so that's what they say. Okay. Then you get all the way down to the end of the article. It says, but they will need a creative successor in the vein of Horn. So this idea, I think they hint clearly in the article that Kennedy will not remain at Lucasfilm after her contract. I do think they hinted that, and they also say explicitly that Feige will not be taking over Star Wars. That he'll be staying at Lucas. I mean, staying at Marvel.
Yeah.
And
so go ahead.
And so that we get all the way down to that, and I think it's really funny. And they say, we know for a fact that these three are it's actually four because Pixar is run by two people,
right.
And they said they get down there. Feige, Kennedy, Morrison, Doctor will not report anybody but Bergman, but they probably do need a creative successor in the vein of Horn, and so they get all the way down through this whole thing, and so I think that is a hint of saying, hey, Kennedy is not going to remain here. But even though they say they haven't announced it and that they don't have any intentions of replacing things, they wouldn't put that at the end of the last paragraph where they said, but they will need somebody like that if there wasn't going to be an opening. Because I think that without saying it explicitly, they're basically saying they may not create a creative officer, but there'll be some sort of position that more than likely I see Kennedy moving up to. That's what I see happening.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. It certainly is creating buzz, and again, I think this is a good example of our filters affecting how we perceive.
No, absolutely. I just know she's going to be 68 years old, or maybe 69, somewhere in there this year, and she's nearing retirement. I don't, I think, but I don't think she'll leave any earlier. I think that if there's going to be something that occurs, it's going to be her moving up, and so and while they've all interpreted that Horn's definitely not getting replaced, that's not true in that article, and because they hint at it at the very end, and as I've said, I think that and I mean, we've done this multiple times. I think in that article, it leaves that hint. So it lets you know that if Kennedy decides to leave, and I think she will decide to leave, I think she's reaching the end of where she wants to be. I think I think she feels comfortable where things are going in the with Disney Plus, and that lets her leave on a high note. Now I know that you feel that she's going to stay around before Indiana Jones.
Yep.
But
Yep.
she can still do that if she's in the creative officer role or some other role, whatever they call it, up in the up in Disney Studios.
I'm in a complete agreement as far as I think the path for her is up and then out. And if it's not up and out, then it'll be renew and out. And if it's the renew, where they renew her contract through Indiana Jones 5, then I think it's very possible, even maybe likely, that she has a co-president, somebody who they've named as a successor.
Yeah.
Much like we get with the Bobs, but we may end up with a successor who is co-president of Lucasfilm as she focuses on getting Indiana Jones 5. And then she'll take that as her swan song and out. But
that's what they did with the Allens too. They were co-chairman of.
Yeah, I think it's very likely that she'll go to Disney Studios, and they'll name her successor to be up and then out. But
yeah, I think that it may not be the chief creative officer, but it'll be something like the chief creative officer. We're not replacing it because we said we're not replacing it. We're forming the new executive creative officer or whatever,
Yeah. So back to the content, right? Content about the content.
Yes. We've broken the rule. Let's get back to
let's get back. We are for sure seeing Boba Fett and Omega meet in this show. We must. Nikki, I'm with you. I think for sure Boba Fett is going to be in this series. And at some point during the season, even this first season, we will see Boba Fett and Omega cross paths. I think you could bank on it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not this season.
We did back to our disagreements. This is great.
But that's the point of that's what we have to do, right? So now we have to lay out our case, right?
It is. Hey, Super Saiyan, you're back, and the avatar is hilarious because we those who know who Super Saiyan is, he and Ryan Kennel have an adversarial relationship, and we've had nothing but positive with Super Saiyan here. Ryan Kennel dropped by once, but he's more welcome to hang out with us as well. But we don't have any adversarial relationship with Super Saiyan. Omega is definitely enhanced. In Certified Gumbo, we did a joint stream earlier this week, and it is performing really well on the channel. Thank you, sir, for being here. Appreciate you being part of the community. I feel like the Kaminoans knew they had a Force sensitive in their grasp. They would have tried cloning her already, and Palpy would have known. So there are still people who think that perhaps that is the case, that Palpatine does know that she is a project of his direction and that he is involved in it in some way. And the Kaminoans are just holding that back from Tarkin and others because it's a secret project on the side.
Yeah, I don't think he does know. I think it's an accident and they're scared. I think it scares them.
Yeah. Oh, there's Mark saying Dave did not used to be on that page. At least a few months ago he wasn't. So that's new. That's good. Will, we're too early for Force sensitive. I agree. There's a crazy theory out there that says Omega is Rey's mother. That's impossible. She would be way too old in either event. So that's not the case. But I don't think she's an early Force sensitive project of Palpatine's either. Omega is the Bad Batch, a creation from the Bad Batch members. Jango's DNA is degrading. I think Omega is a Bad Batch member created from Jango, not from other Bad Batch members. They're trying to sell a product. Well, they're certainly building a character, and that's I kind of want to wrap up our review of the first three and kind of move towards talking about episode 4. I have seen great character progression with Omega through these three. The first, she was figuring out what's going on and joining the Bad Batch. The second, she's trying to figure out about being a kid. And there's powerful moments in that second episode where she's sitting in their ship alone, and she takes her headpiece off and she's crying because she doesn't know where she fits. You can really see emotionally she's a kid, and she's trying to figure out what on earth she is, where she fits. It's I think a wonderful moment for her. And we get into episode 3, and she says, "I'm part of this team." So she's decided,
part of this squad too, aren't I?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I just love the character progression. And like you, I completely disagree that any of these have been fillers. Every single one is pushing the story forward, pushing the character development forward, pushing the squad dynamics forward. And we're seeing fantastic character arcs, story arcs. This is all just beautiful stuff.
So I will say this: it's not completely out of the realm that she could be Rey's mother. So she'd be 47 at the time that Rey was born. So it's not completely out of the realm. Not likely, but not completely out.
Okay. Well, I think physical traits are enough different as well. But leave that where it is. I don't think that's the case.
No, I'm just saying that when it comes to capability, that is a possibility.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's likely. I'm just saying possible.
Right. For Coachella says, if she's force sensitive, I don't know how many powerful force users you can hide from the Empire. And that's a very good point, because as we see Omega's character develop, if she becomes OP, all right, if she becomes overpowered in any sense, it becomes more difficult to explain where she was.
No, absolutely. So just because she's force sensitive does not mean she's out there, grabbing lightsabers and flinging things across the room. Maybe it just allows her to be more accurate in the same sense that Luke Skywalker was able to shoot the into the torpedoes into the shaft, right? Use the Force, Luke, and kind of thing. Yeah. And so we'll see. I mean, we'll see the whole thing. Maybe it gives her the ability to sense what people are thinking and those kind of things. So it doesn't have to be OP just because she has some abilities. It's just that you show that you are aware and feel the Force, but she's never really trained, so she never has the ability to become a Jedi per se. I mean, she may have that ability, but it never comes about.
I've seen that discussion point as well, that she could be force sensitive and not trained, so she doesn't become overpowered. The same thing with her being an amalgamation of all the powers of all of the Bad Batch. If she becomes super overpowered, both of those cases could be taken care of by just not overpowering her.
Right. No, I mean, I agree. So I mean, it's like, so being slightly more enhanced than others is not the same as being as enhanced as Crosshair, or as strong as Wrecker, or as perceptive as Hunter.
Right. I think that's a good point. Like, if each one is more augmented in their one, than one being augmented across all the others. It's sort of that master of all, what is
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, Jack of all, master of none. Maybe that kind of applies, right?
Right. So she's a little bit better than the regular clones, but she's not as, specific as the others.
Yeah, I agree. She's not a Palpatine clone. I think that's a given. Omega clones already, right? If they did, then we would see other Omega clones, right? If they're successful in this. And Mark posted it earlier. Things are not going to end well for the Kaminoans.
Yes, I don't know. I don't think that part of canon's been changed.
No,
we know that in about a year there's going to be, from this point in time, there's about to be the destruction of it.
Right. Right. Let me get caught up on the comments here real fast. And Mike, appreciate the encouragement. Yeah, let's be respectful in comments. We've got some great moderators in the forum as well, including Mike Porter. You guys, we have a great community here. We can have diverse opinions and thoughts, and that's what we try to do. Is share those in respectful ways. Invader's Lair, you've been doing great. So
you can talk bad about me, but I get to talk bad about you. That's okay.
Yeah, and you definitely get to talk bad about me. So that's how.
But don't worry, I will do it I'll try to do it in the funniest way possible.
There you go. So we've kind of started speculating about episode 4. Things in the series are not going to go well for the Kaminoans. Where do you think we're going in episode 4? They did mention in 2 that they were just a day behind Rex. We saw in 3 that Tech is building this sensor that can pick up on that chip. And I think they're going to want to meet up with Rex to learn more about the chip. We know that they do meet up with Rex at some point. Will that happen this next episode, or is there still something that needs to happen first?
Well, I do think they're going to probably meet Rex in the next episode, because Rex is probably going to help them remove the chip from Wrecker. I think Wrecker's going to flip.
I think that headache is definitely an indicator, because Wrecker takes all kinds of wounds, right? He gets shot with blasters, like, oh, I felt that, right? And then he brushes it off and moves on. Here he knocks his head on a landing, and for the whole episode, he complains about that hurting. I don't think it's at all. I think knocking his head maybe activated the chip, and now his DNA, his biology is fighting it, and that's what's causing the headache. And Tech is coming up with this scanner. It's going to definitely pick up on it. And Tech is ultimately going to be the solution. He's going to come up with something that deactivates the chip without having to surgically remove it. And they need the information from Rex to know how to make all that happen. Right?
Bingo. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think it's exactly what it's alluding to. And I think that's the path we're on. If it doesn't happen that way, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I see a lot of people kind of ignoring that project that Tech is working on, but I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And then they'll be able to flip other clones by applying that same technology to them. Either by
know why we got Wolf and Gregor back.
Exactly. And we're going to get more. I think they're going to start flipping them regularly.
Yep, and this will explain why they decommission the clones, not the other way around.
I agree. I'm 1,000% with you. And you got to realize that having conscripts, people who sign up is the one guy, and I can't remember his name.
Rampart.
Rampart. He says this is an important attribute, right? When they volunteer for service, we've got their buy-in. And that's going to be a big part of it. So if you can deactivate the chip, you lose that inhibitor. You lose that thing that stops them from being able to be controlled. Now they become loose cannons. Now we need to get the conscripts because we've got somebody who's bought in, right?
Yep.
So it's K-Cal. 4 to 6 would be the arc with the mission that they go on with Fennec Shand. That's a good. So if you were to put together an arc, is 4 to 6 the Fennec Shand arc, or is it the Rex arc?
I think that's the Rex arc. I think Fennec Shand's coming up second half.
Yeah, and Mark, like we're giving you a lump of coal for missing last week's episode, but we give you a little bit because you were moving. So we do give you, a little.
I was out in the country. I didn't have my internet set up yet. It's not my fault.
That's why it's just a lump instead of a whole bucket, right? So
I had like a half a bar on the signal. I was like, I couldn't even hear myself half the time.
There you go. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that this next arc is going to be the Rex arc. I put it in question mark. That's my prediction. That's where I'm going to plant my flag. And I think that the Fennec Shand arc will come after that. And there are a lot of stories still not told in the preview trailer we have. There's the Transocean lady who is a bit of a mob boss, right? Hiring folks out.
Right.
We haven't seen her. She could be coming up next. or we haven't seen Fennec Shan. We haven't seen them go to Coruscant. We haven't seen, like, there's a whole mess of stuff that are in those trailers that we haven't seen yet. But I feel like they need to get there because we do have Wrecker's chip activating. He's got these headaches. Tech is trying to figure it out. They know Rex has been dealing with it. Everything's leading up to this being the next part of the arc. So that's where my flag is planted.
Yep.
So actors in Star Wars, I have these for a reason. Well, these aren't just Santa's wish list. There have been some rumors, and
They're my wish list.
there's some thoughts out there. The first rumor is that, and again, these are rumors. These are not leaks. These are not this is mostly speculation, but rumors that Lucasfilm has been trying to contract Millie Bobby Brown, MBB, Millie Bobby Brown, that the girl you see there in the picture. She's 17 years old. I think 17 years old, and most famous for Stranger Things on Netflix. She also played Sherlock Holmes' sister in the series about what is that? Enola Holmes. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched that. I don't know.
Enola Holmes. It's alone spelled backwards. Enola Holmes. It's a really good. She does a great job in that series. Millie Bobby Brown is a fantastic up and coming actress. She's very popular for what she has done, and that Lucasfilm very much would like to get her in the stable. Now, there's a deep fake that shows her as Leia, and it's a very good one.
Yeah,
it was a really good one. But yeah, and she was great in Enola Holmes. Absolutely. And you also see Superman in there. I had to point out to my daughter that was Superman. She didn't get it. But so I think that putting her in as Leia makes sense. And we do have, as a 17-year-old, right? So the funny thing is that Carrie Fisher going into A New Hope was 19, right?
Right.
So here she's just a little bit younger than Carrie was. You could easily put her in my opinion, into the new Andor series.
Yeah, I think she'll play like a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
in the Andor series.
She would fit in. And Ducky has been making the case for her coming in like that bald, bloody, and he put the picture of her in Discord from Stranger Things as a Night Sister. She could play a young Night Sister.
Oh yeah, she could. But I don't think she will. I think she'll play Leia. I think she'll play a young Leia.
It makes sense. It's a really, really popular thing, and they're posting it in Discord now. So if you're not in our Discord, come join. Check it out. Come to my channel. You'll see folks posting pictures in there right now of Millie Bobby Brown in that deep fake. But yeah, I think it makes sense to put her in. If Lucasfilm is able to bring her in, get her in the stable, then put her in as young Leia. And earlier this week, we talked a lot about doing a series around Thrawn pre-original trilogy, more in line with those novels. You could also use her for that because in those novels, Thrawn and Vader go to get Leia. There's some interaction there, so she's part of that picture. It absolutely would fit, and we could do a spin-off into a Thrawn series pre-original trilogy. Sign me up. That's where I have her for my own fan casting. What about
you? Could even see parts. I'm trying to think of young Leia. That book we Vega read that, and we read that together. Trying to think what that was called. Maybe Young Leia, but I can't remember. But yeah, it talks about her doing her taking on mercy missions, and Bale and Brea sending her on those missions to fulfill her royal duties.
Yeah, Nikki said she could play a young Rey in a sequel era. Perhaps. I
don't see that happening though.
I don't either. I see her more as Leia, or I think Ducky's on a point. She could absolutely play a Night Sister.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, let's sign her up. Let's put her in Andor. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's more likely where she'll be.
I do
we
too.
ready to move on to Duane?
We are. So the next, the Duane Johnson one, and I know you're biting at the bit for this. You're like, come on, let's go.
I'm super excited about this one, actually.
Yeah. So the rumor is that Duane Johnson is wanting to be as part of the Star Wars universe. That he has actually approached Lucasfilm to say, "Hey, can you get me in?" Will Morgan, Millie Bobby Brown as Omega. Good. Absolutely, Will. That could happen. But
you mimic a Kiwi accent?
Yeah. If Duane Johnson wants to come into the Star Wars universe, he's asking for it. Where would you put him? Now, before I let you go, you have a great one. You're going to take all my thunder. So I'll put out just a little squeaker, and then you're going to completely dominate, right? I'm ready. I put maybe he would be a Zabrak in the same sort of vein as what's his name? Savage, right? So Savage is this really jacked Zabrak. I don't think he would go as Savage, but he could be that kind of Savage character, right? And Mark, you're not allowed to take away the fun. So Luke, if he wants in, he could go in for any price that he wants. So as Seth says, as Ezra, no, that's not. But actually, my friend, a Magic Maker, you have the answer. This is
I have the answer that will solve the money problem.
Any other you do, and any other argument is false after you hear what a Magic Maker has to say. So now I'll step aside, and you can tell everybody what the right answer is.
So I think that he will be a Mandalorian, and I bet y'all can't guess which one.
Go ahead.
All right. He's also known as Mandalore the Preserver. That's another hint. Still no? Canderous Ordo, Knights of the Old Republic. All right. Now y'all can roll.
No, you can roll. Exactly. So if we get him as Candace Ordo, then, of course, who do we need set with Candace Ordo?
Oh, right? That then feeds into the next rumor, right? Keanu Reeves as Revan.
Keanu Reeves is Revan. Duane Johnson is Ordo. And then you just fill out the rest of the cast, right? So
that's right. And then you need Bastila, and then you need the others.
Right.
Who would play HK-47?
And who would be?
Yeah, the bunch of meat bags.
We need. Oh shoot! Mandalore the Great. Yeah.
No, he was known as Mandalore the Preserver. Is what
Mandalore the Preserver, right? Yeah. And then we need. So if we get Keanu Reeves as Revan, Duane Johnson as Ordo, then we need, like you said, Bastila Sheehan. Now there's some fan casting for that already. Allison Williams looks a lot like the game version of Bastila, but then Malik, you need Malik. Who would be a perfect Malik?
For me, it's Vin Diesel.
So Vin Diesel, right? So you get on one side Duane Johnson, the other side Vin Diesel. It's perfect casting. It is absolutely perfect casting. You get those four to lead Knights of the Old Republic, and go. You make all the money you need.
Right? Yeah, I think that'll just blow up. I mean, I can't see it not. I mean, I'd be more interested in that than the Mandalorian any day.
I think a lot of people would. Now, the critical part there is it needs done well. Right. It absolutely needs done well. There's a lot riding on it, but you've got big names. You've got great actors. You got the right directors and writers involved. It could absolutely make all the money they need to pay them.
Tom Hardy would be a good Malik. I absolutely agree with you, Mark. Absolutely agree. Actually, that name popped into my head too.
Yes. So I think Knights of the Old Republic would be great. I think it would be great. It's what people want. They've been asking for a long time over the High Republic. I know that if and I've enjoyed the High Republic. I don't want to go off topic, but the High Republic has been good. It's a new era.
It's still content on content.
It is content, right? The High Republic has been good, but the Old Republic are what fans have been asking for.
Yeah. I mean, it's what fans, my age and our age and maybe a little younger.
And if you've got Duane Johnson knocking on the door, hey, let me in. There's a way to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely a way to do it. The next one is Sebastian Stan. I think I saw yesterday, the day before, that Disney has been talking with him. Lucasfilm's been talking to him specifically to get him into some live action Luke Skywalker stuff.
I see that happening. I mean, of course, it'll be the older Luke in between where we're at now with the Mandalorian and the sequel trilogy. I mean, that's where it would fall.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it makes sense to put him in the Mandoverse. He fits. I loved having the deep fake, with Mark Hamill and the de-aging. That was great. But now we just need to move forward with Sebastian Stan. You can use him in the Filoniverse, the Mandoverse, and go. Just go. Do it. It's easy casting. It's something that they should absolutely do.
I would totally see a Mark Hamill, or not Mark Hamill, but a Luke Skywalker Baby Yoda show.
Yeah, well, and I don't know how much Grogu is going to stay with him, to be honest. But that's I absolutely see carrying on Luke Skywalker in the Mandoverse, and to do that as a regular, Sebastian Stan just makes sense. I know it's fan casting, but the same thing with Rosario too.
Rosario Dawson was the same way.
Yeah,
I mean, and so instead of maybe Baby Yoda, it's Kitty Yoda.
Hey there, Press Play Streaming Studios. Hello, thanks for coming in. It's good to see you here. A new person to the show here. So I do think that is very, very possible. And I see you guys in chat, right? And let's stay on topic. Let's stay positive. We're keeping the content about the content, and we're staying away from a lot of the other stuff. The last one here, and the reason I started that way, is Brie Larson. Earlier in the week, it was going everywhere. The Brie Larson has been cast as Mara Jade. Right. No, it's not true. First of all, there's no source behind it of any credibility. This is typical clickbait kind of stuff that people come up with because it gets them views. We have a segment we do on this show called Buckets of Coal, where we give 1 to 5 buckets of coal based on the amount of truthfulness. 1 bucket has a little truth in it. 5 buckets has no truth in it. And I would say that the rumor of Brie Larson being cast as Mara Jade is 1,000% 5 buckets of coal.
Yeah, if it's Mara Jade, the answer is 5 buckets. If it's Star Wars, period, I would say 3. I do think there's a potential for her to be in the Feige Star Wars. Exactly.
I do think there's potential. I'm with you. Again, we're in agreement. I don't think there's any possibility she's Mara Jade. I think that's 5 buckets of coal. No truthfulness in that at all. So, calm down. It's not happening. 3 buckets of coal that she's being considered for a Star Wars project, but there's no evidence. So if we start to get evidence that she has been cast, then we'll lower the buckets to 2 or 1. But at this point,
that's right. I mean, I'm not saying I'd be opposed to her being Mara Jade. I mean, I just don't think it's true. It just pisses people off. I mean, I think the character, she comes in and kills some people, and we like her, and she kisses Luke. We'll be like, oh well, I guess okay.
No, yeah, color me surprised. There were also some Afro rumblings, but again, not a lot of truthfulness there. I didn't put it on the agenda. Dr. Afra has been kind of, I said, floated out there a few times.
That's another 3 bucket, just because she's such a popular comic book character. I think it's a possibility.
Exactly. Marvel better not kill off Captain Marvel's. Well, we'll see. we're not going to go there. We're never given a title. Don't see how you call this a title change. Okay, you're going on with the Marvel stuff. We're not going to go there. We're just not going to do it. Right? Let's keep this
because this is Star Wars Santa, not Marvel Santa.
That's right. That's right. And I'm telling you, Nikki will lay down the hammer. And so would Mike Porter, but Mike's a little drugged. And so Nikki is our hammer here. She will absolutely use it if needed. So we kind of keep a positive outlook on things. We don't jump into, just flaming things because it gets clicks. The Brie Larson thing did come up. It was out there. We've addressed it. And I know there's thoughts about her out there as far as the fandom goes. Look, we'll worry about it when it happens. And right now it's not happening. So just calm down.
Yeah, I mean, Ducky's right. I mean, she could be an acolyte.
She could be. Absolutely. Exactly. She absolutely, you got somebody who's quiet and angry. It could be Brie. It could very well. I agree.
Since that's really the only emotion she can show.
Oh, nice one. Very good. Well done, my friend. Well done. And lastly on the agenda here is the Muppet casting for The Rise of Skywalker. We have been going through the entire movie, Star Wars movie franchise, and Muppet casting all of the movies. And in the Discord, this is a Discord discussion we've been having. We've been carrying it on now for quite some time. This is the last of the Muppet casting. So this is your last chance to come in. We've already had some really good Muppet casting for Rise of Skywalker. There's not a lot of new characters in Rise of Skywalker to cast. So yeah, there's a limit to how far that can go. But
we're not done. We'll do Muppet Babies with the animated shows.
We'll see. I think it's kind of run its course, but we do have some. Haven't Muppet cast Rebels yet.
Star Wars babies.
You know what else hasn't been done for Rebels yet, Mark? Vintage collection characters, right? So vintage collection figures. There has not been a run from Hasbro on vintage collection figures. And if you want to get Star Wars Santa to rage out and just, make a hate video, it'd be about the vintage collection figures that Hasbro keeps failing on. And I could get Mark fired up in a hurry. And we talk about how they haven't created Rebels. So, when Hasbro makes the Rebels characters, then we'll do the Muppet casting for Rebels. How about that, Mark?
There we go.
we can get Mark fired up too. But and we've got some friends that love to give Santa a hard time about it. But we've had some.
Angus loves trolling. I think he should have more named himself as like Launchpad McQuack. I mean, that's.
He's been having fun. That's okay. There you go, Mike taking care of it. Mike's on the he woke up from his drug filled kind of quietness and took care of it. Mark says, okay, that's a never then, as far as like Muppet casting, because of there is a hope. There is a hope. So as far as it goes with Hasbro, there has been frustration on part of Star Wars fans that they've mismanaged that license. They have that license to make the characters, especially in the vintage collection. Black Series figures aren't hard to come by, but vintage collection ones are. And people really, really get worked up about it. And it's possible that we could come up with a HasLab project for the Ghost. And if they did that, then we could get the vintage collection Rebels figures for the Ghost. So let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, I actually really like Rebels. It's actually, I like it better. And I'm going to say something that probably will make people, I like it better than Clone Wars.
Oh, no. That's blasphemy.
I know.
Yeah. So
And people said they don't like Ezra. I like Ezra.
yeah, Space Aladdin. You like him?
I do. I like him better than Ahsoka,
One,
actually.
one step ahead of the president. But, so, Angus is on here, and he's been kind of flowing out the typical kind of negativity that we get in the Star Wars fandom. But my friend the Magic Maker has a fantastic way, an outlet for folks who have dislike of certain of any particular part of Star Wars. If there's part of the EU you don't like, there's part of the sequels. Let's say you don't like the sequels. I know it's a stretch, but there might be some people out there who don't. Or maybe you don't like the prequels. A really healthy outlet for that, a creative outlet for that, is fan fiction. So tell us about what your channel is about, what you guys do out there.
Yeah, I mean, so we've done a lot of different things on the channel. We're a variety channel, but I mean, I would say that the main focus of the Discord is writing Star Wars fan fiction. And the thing is that it helps you vent when you're upset about Star Wars. It helps you learn to create in a sandbox that's kind of already there for you, and help you learn the process of writing, and just learn all the little pieces that go into writing a Star Wars story, whether it's a short story or whether it's a rewrite of a film or a novel, or however you want to do it, or your own. You kind of learn how to put the pieces together, and it's just good fun. And then, but what we do is every Sunday, I'll have to say that I've been lax in this because I've been in the process of moving, and haven't had internet, and it's taken a lot longer than I intended. But what we try to do is every Sunday have a meeting for people to read and talk about Star Wars fan fiction.
Yeah,
and that's Sunday at 8 Central.
So 9 Eastern, 8 Central. If you are interested, they have folks that'll help you with reading, so you can get character voices. Folks who are passionate about writing fan fiction, who can help you with ideas and writing techniques. It's a great way to vent your frustration. And I know, a Magic Maker, you've been working with Thor Skywalker on rewriting the sequels.
Yep, have been. And I'm moving deep into that. Actually, it's taking a lot of my time.
Yeah, and that's a healthy exercise, and that's what we do here at this channel. We talk about our passion for Star Wars, whether you love the sequels or hate them, and are completely involved in that whole political side of things or not. We just talk about Star Wars and our passion for it. And when you're frustrated with something, you really don't like how something was executed, fan fiction is a great way, a great outlet to kind of dive into that passion and really take the mantle of your frustration and put it in a productive way. And I know that there are Raylos out there doing it with the sequels. There are non-Raylos out there doing it. There are different segments of the fandom who are frustrated with different parts of the Star Wars franchise. And the fan fiction, I agree, is a fantastic way for folks to vent that frustration in a healthy and productive way.
I agree. It's an expressive way to allow you to have some say and how you incorporate that into your thought process, and let's just let you heal.
Exactly.
If you're upset.
Exactly. So there's that. Tomorrow on my Discord, we will be going into the latest Thrawn novel. We've been have a book club going on, and we're taking chunks of it at a time. We'll be continuing that on in Discord. We open up a voice channel, and we talk about a few chapters at a time as we work through those novels. And I have been absolutely loving these Thrawn novels by Timothy Zahn. And we'll be looking for another book when we finish this. It's a great place to come in if you want to get involved with the Star Wars universe, the franchise outside of just the Bad Batch. which is fantastic. But if you want to get involved in reading some of the novels or learning about some of the novels, we'll have that book club, and we'll pick another book and we'll dive into it as well. It can be from the EU, it can be from current, whatever that might be. So you guys, Mike's having lunch at the hospital. Well, Mike,
yay, at least you're getting lunch.
Yeah, hope that you're able to get lunch outside of the hospital soon, my friend.
Yes.
Get healthy. Get healthy. That's the most important thing. Nikki will take care of the band hammer. She's capable, and you get the health, you get the rest and recovery that you need, my friend. And then tomorrow morning, about 7:30 a.m. Eastern, I'll be doing a live watch and reaction discussion about the Bad Batch episode number 4. And I still haven't got a bingo on my Bad Batch bingo card. Been working on that. It's not happened for me yet, but so it's going to end up. How long does it take before Santa gets his first bingo, and then to fill out the card? How much of the card will fill out? We'll do that as well.
So can I make one suggestion?
Yeah.
So instead of the band hammer, you should call it the elfing ejection.
I had to share. No, I forgot to mention it. We were talking about. You've been
elfin ejected.
We were talking about Millie Bobby Brown, and I got to bring it up because somebody absolutely came up with a brilliant suggestion for Millie Bobby in Star Wars. And you got to give me just a second to get there because I gotta find it. It was so funny, and it fits right with you. Let me see if I can get it. A Magic Maker. Let me go to my page
while
here.
You're looking,
Yeah.
Then what I'll say is I want to add one more thing. So even though I haven't been able to put a lot of content out on the channel yet, one of the things I want to offer to people, and if you're interested in doing fan fiction and you come on and you want it to be in an audio book format so people can enjoy it, hear the sounds of Star Wars, that's something we can do for you. We can find somebody to read it if you don't want to read it yourself, read it in the dramatic way, and then place the sound and music with it so that it comes out in a format that makes you feel and allows others around you to enjoy the Star Wars that you want to share.
Perfect. So Sheev the Wise, who has been here in our chat, and Proxy, who shows up from time to time, made this suggestion together. It was a sort of a 1-2. Sheev said we could put Millie Bobby Brown as a young Shmi Skywalker. And then Proxy said, yeah, have a slave girl on the run and title it Catch Shmi If You Can.
That's awesome. I love that. Catch me if you can.
I knew you would, a Magic Maker. I had to share that with you because that is 100% you.
I wish I'd come up with that.
Catch Me If You Can. Millie Bobby Brown starring in a young slave girl who's on the run, Shmi Skywalker.
That's awesome. I love that.
I knew you would. And you guys, we've had a lot of fun today. So yeah, so corny. And that's our sense of humor. We're dads. We're allowed to have dad humor, and that's absolutely great. Look, we love talking about Star Wars here. We're passionate about Star Wars, and we just want to have fun with the discussion like friends would. And a Magic Maker and I, you've heard it here even today, we disagree on a lot of things, but we love Star Wars, and we're able to disagree respectfully. That's what we have here in the chat, and that's why like Nikki and Mike have been kind of policing that for us today. And as the channel continues to grow, we would expect that maybe we'll have a little more friction, but what we want to do is keep things positive and productive. And we can absolutely.
I look forward to the fiction. Just let me make fun of them.
Yes. We can have fun, and we love it. So you guys, thanks so much for being here. Our channel is growing. We're getting a little. I looked at the analytics today. We're getting over 130 hours of watch time a week, and hopefully that will continue to grow as we go through the Bad Batch. We're at 2,700 hours today. We got to get to that 4,000 for our monetization. And if we keep along, say 130 to 150 hours a week as we continue to grow, we can be there before we know it, right? And in just a couple months, we'll be at our 4,000, and we're going to start doing giveaways for channel members. We'll have subscribers, and as you subscribe, well, first of all, when we hit 4,000 hours, I've got a Black Series Jar Jar Binks right here. We reviewed it on the channel. This Black Series Jar Jar Binks will be the giveaway to celebrate 4,000 hours of membership. And we had a big giveaway when we reached 1,000 members for Coachella. Ducky, Mike Porter, they've all received their gifts. And I sent out the picture to Patricia this week. You guys have gotten all of those. When we get to 4,000 hours, we'll give away Darth. Darth, look at me. I've already bought it. Darth Jar Jar. We'll give away Jar Jar Binks. And we will then start to have regular giveaways for our channel members. We'll ask for, what would you like us to review? I'll take the money we get from the subscribers. We'll buy that figure, and then we'll give it away. So that Santa's collection doesn't get too big, and we kind of keep cycling through things. So we'll do that. And
in fact, what you should do is you should give it away to a needy child, so someone gets to see that their gift and that what they did goes. That's my suggestion.
That would be good.
You are Santa, so
look, folks,
give it away to a child who doesn't have that toy and would love to have that toy. It would, to me, be.
Yeah, we'll that's absolutely, if anybody wants to do that, that would be encouraged. I'm already involved in organizations that do give away things to kids, so this is just set aside from that. But Mark Hamilton, I'm a needy child. So one suggestion has been we'll do one of these hot toys, one of the premium toys that are like $250, $350. We get enough channel members, we can get a hot toy. We'll absolutely review it, and we'll give that away as well, and feed somebody's addiction to collecting Star Wars.
We got to start new addictions. Hey guys, I totally recommend that. If you win, you say, Santa, give it away. Start a new addiction.
There you go. You could absolutely do that, and we would give it away. I'm involved with a foster care ministry program here in Central Ohio, and we could do that with one of our foster families. So I'll be happy to do that on your behalf if that's what you would like. But we'll take care of that. But that's what we'll be doing on the channel. We'll be doing regular giveaways for our channel members, and we'll have channel member discussions that we'll do like in
what he's telling you guys is that what you need to do is put it on autoplay, go to your computer, turn it on right now, and walk away.
That's right.
Start it on your phone, start it on your TV, your smart TV, and then let them all play, and we'll be at 4,000 hours by the end of the week. You by yourself can get us there.
It could happen.
Take those efforts.
It absolutely could happen if folks would just let it play in the background. You can mute it. Go about your day. That we'll be there.
Autoplay. Just watch it over and over and over again.
Yeah. So Imagic Maker, again, good luck unboxing with the remainder of your move. Thanks for being here again today. It's been fun.
I can't be here last week. I really missed it. I was like, oh.
So tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. If you guys want to follow along Bad Batch episode 4 with me, come find us, and we'll be here. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and spend some time with family, loved ones. And Mike Porter, get well, get healthy, my friend. Thanks so much. Imagic Maker, I'll let you close out.
All right, everyone. May the force be with you. We'll see you next week.
All right. Merry Christmas.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.